Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time. I know everybody's been waiting for this moment. It's the grand finals for Group C of the Elite Warfare Gaming League. My name is Graf the Giraffe, and I am joined by the Raven himself. How are you doing, brother, and how you feel about these two teams going at it?
Man, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be accompanied by you. I haven't been able to cast with you at all through the 2 years that I've been here, so I'm looking forward to tonight. But hey, we got a good matchup on our hands, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, a best of seven. This is one of those grand finals where it's going to be an interesting one because we know of all the roster moves that have happened with the side of the cul-de-sac because they've had players who, ranked up too high from Crimson, and then some people just, didn't want to play on the team anymore. And so now they have two new guys coming on in, the new kids on the block. They are going to be Teddy and Dingo. They are going to be filling in those AR roles for the members that they lost, which was, I believe, Novi and Strizzy and Aval, or Vale. They're going to have some big shoes to fill here, Raven.
Oh, for sure. I've heard a lot of good things, though, from those two pickups that they just got. Unfortunately, they lost two key players. Like you said, trying to see what it feels like going into this first map. Obviously, you got new players and not the same, chemistry you got going on there. So it's kind of see what they can do against a team like Cabal. Because I know Cabal, personally, every team that they've ever had play under them has always had really good chemistry going into whatever league matchup.
Yeah, you point that out perfectly. Cabal has been in the Call of Duty and in the competitive scene for the past, I think, couple of years that I have known them, and they always put together a solid roster. And you say they build it off that chemistry, and that just kind of shows, hey, this is the reason why they're in the grand finals of this Group C for the Elite Warfare Gaming League. It's just they continue to find the right players that mesh well with each other, and then they grow together over the season. And who knows, maybe some of these guys, they might be in Group B, Group A the following season for Black Ops 7, which I know everybody is excited for. But Raven, tell us about the maps that are going to be coming up for this best of seven.
I gotta say that map number 1 and map number 7 in this series are probably my two favorites of the entire COD season, personally. So we're gonna start off with the Skyline Hardpoint, which many know that going into this last update, that Skyline did kind of have a mini map bug. I don't know if it was fully fixed. I don't know if it's fully fixed yet, but if it is, that means we'll actually have a pretty interesting map one where not everyone has to go off their awareness. But I do got to say, map number 2, and then going into a clean slate, we got Rewind Search going into map number 2, which is a very, A-bomb heavy site. No one ever really goes to B-bomb on the offense, but I've always seen a lot of people on the defensive side win those maps, unfortunately. And then, Graf, we got 3 Hosties in a row. We start with a Hossie Control, Hossie Hardpoint, and a Hossie Search. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, it's just been a Hossie sandwich at the end of the year. I feel like you see all three of these maps since probably the last 2 or 3 months. It has been thrown into every single rotation, and the later that this title has gone on, the less we would see of red card, the less we would see of protocol control in maps like that. So Hacienda just kind of fills in the gaps, and there's a reason why, right? Like, this has been in the competitive scene, not necessarily in the control aspect until this year, but Search and Destroy, it's been solid all the way since Black Ops 4. And then obviously it makes you work on the fundamentals when it comes to that hard point. You always have to be ahead of the rotations, making sure your teammates are organized and putting themselves in the right position to win those gunfights.
Exactly. And one thing I do like to point out that a lot of people didn't know about Hacienda, if you played Black Ops 4 and you play this game, that top lights open hallway is just a game changer, an absolute killer for whatever team gets the better positioning, I could say, on that part of the map. But to end off the series, though, if we get to go see a map number 5 or number 6 and 7, if the COD gods do bless us, is a Proto Control. And, Graf's ultimate favorite map of the Black Ops 6 season is the red card S&D.
And it gets a bad rap, Braven. It gets a bad rap, and I get a bad rap for it. I don't like that. I like to have a good time and have some good Call of Duty fun. I'm not saying it's the best search and destroy map, but when it came to Hardpoint, it was hands down the staple of a reminder of what we used to have. Everybody's wanting to run and gun, these quick gunfights. I'm like, no, that's not how Hardpoint was back in the day. If you got killed early and the other team forced you out towards the middle of the map, you had those deep spawns, and that's what Red Card forces you to play as a team and forces you you to be on point to make sure you are taking the correct gunfights and getting those breaks and or holds. But hey, enough about that map. We are loading on into the map one. It is Skyline Hardpoint. We have the cul-de-sac going up against the Cabal Omega.
I'm really excited to see this map number one. We're going to open up here with Dingo, which was going to be one of the highlighted players for this side of cul-de-sac, but he is going to get taken down, but it is going to be the side of Cabal opening up on this break of P1, being able to, slowly break in, get that early control, and to be able to flip the spawns in their favor for this P2.
And we didn't even get to talk about the Cabal team. I mean, you have Cope, Nimble, Invert, and then Lurk going up against Teddy, Kaizen, Hooligan, and then the Dingo. It says a DuBois Dingo, but we're just going to call him Dingo for short, as Lurk already off to a 3-0 start as he is looking to keep it going. Make it the fourth here, Raven. The man is already starting to shoot early.
Yeah, like you said, we never gassed Cabal at all, never really talked about them going into this map number one, and I feel like this organization as a whole is a very underdog team. Everyone kind of overlooks what they bring to the team, and, they're showing it here, starting it really hot, going 37-5. They did have that early P2 rotation, but the breaks do come in for the side of cul-de-sac. But, it's going to be that man Lurk, though, on that 4 streak, does end up getting taken down. So, unfortunately, though, for this side of cul-de-sac, they do end up getting the break, but it is going to be Lurk, though, bringing into.
Oh my goodness, bring in the 3, and Nimble's looking for the 4th, but of course it's the man Teddy Roosevelt giving him the big old bear hug as it's Kaizen trying to find a re-break, but immediately shut down. And Raven, what you kind of see right now is just this early domination and control of this P2. And when you have a player like Lurk who's already 7-2, and then everybody just covering the correct lanes, it makes it that much easier for Cabal to find these opening points.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, when you have somebody that's just so aggressive, applying that pressure, trying to make that other team, second guess where they need to look to try to find them, kind of makes it a little bit staggered pushes and holding the hills, and that's really a good calm out of you. I gotta tip it. But it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac though, getting that P3 rotation, as they are going to try to favor that top hall section just a little bit. As the side of Cabal though are going to try to push through for those P4 spawns, which it looks like that might be the case though. It might be Cope and the boys of cul-de-sac getting a little bit of split spawns, but P3 is going to be in favor of the boys of Cabal. Cope with 3, the man's on a mission, and he's just taking down everyone in his sights.
And I thought Hooligan made an incredible play finding that double. I thought they were going to for sure secure that time. And then immediately Cope comes in, drops the triple, or right back to an open hill. But Kaizen, the farthest player, pushed forward, and he should be able to garner this last 20 seconds. I wouldn't imagine the side of Cabal really wanting to contest this. They have their rotation for P4. Everybody's sitting in a good spot. But right now, Nimble, he goes in through that front bedroom, and he does find another, and he's just pushing that line forward. Kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, is finding these opening kills and making sure that those spawns are going deep.
Exactly, like you said, the opening kills, trying to push up, trying to create some kind of map pressure, or even just like the spawn pressure, and it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac though, trying to push up through that bed section, trying to apply the early pressure inside the hill. Then they're going to hit out the back. They are going to get the spawns in favor of them, and they are going to break. Down goes Lurk. A little bit of shaky shots there at a Kaizen, but the boys of cul-de-sac are able to break through, as it is going to be about a 30-point deficit here potentially. But it is going to be the side of Cabal doing the same exact thing, putting the pressure in the front and then applying it to the back. But it's going to be all the Teddy in the back for the side of cul-de-sac.
Yeah, and right there, Kaizen, he was trying to generate some electricity right there. He was doing his best windmill impression, just sitting out in the open, but it's going to be Teddy coming in, dropping 3, and he's still being the last remaining member. And as long as he held down those spawns, he's doing a good job, but still not as much time as you would like to have there. If you were the side of Cabal, you kind of break it for a 30-30 for the cul-de-sac, and they're kind of sitting right now trying to get their foot in. We kind of knew this would be a David and Goliath story, because you are having players that have only been together for 2 or 3 days going up against a roster that's been together a whole season.
Yeah, unfortunately for the side of cul-de-sac, this series going into the grand finals was not forever in their favor. I don't want to make a Hunger Games reference, but it's going to be Cabal, having those reps, having the chemistry though over the side of cul-de-sac. But cul-de-sac is not down and out yet. This is Skyline. Anything can happen. Obviously, P1 is still going to be in favor of the boys at Cabal, but that P2 rotation is there for the side of cul-de-sac.
And cul-de-sac right now, they are getting barricaded in. They're trying to find the through street right now. They just can't seem to do it, as currently it's Cabal sitting in such a good position here. But it is Kaizen comes through, and he's going to be guarding that top skyway. And this is the chance to get yourself right back into this game. You're still within striking distance, and Kaizen, unfortunately, just gets a bad timing. Everybody else is getting shut down. Make it an easy for their Raven. That was clean from Cabal.
Yeah, absolute insane plays out of Cabal. I do got to say, though, the class that Nimble is running is really rubbing me the wrong way, because that is not the Ames class that anybody in the competitive scene I've seen running. So, whatever works for him. But it's going to be Cabal, though, obviously taking this big lead, about 80 points now with 28 seconds left of the scrap time. And, it's an introvert, just applying that pressure on these P2s, getting the 3 to 4 pieces, breaking in, just applying that good amount of pressure, just putting those guys at cul-de-sac on their back feet. Not what exactly what you want from cul-de-sac, especially if you are here on this P3 with about down 100 points.
And you're showing the attention to detail right there, because to be honest, it shows how much I don't play the game and I just commentate. I had no idea what's going on with the class, but I'll let you keep that one to yourself. But so far, right now, Dingo, he gets put right into the planters. He's trying to make some grass grow, or maybe some plants, and Introvert doing a good job shutting it down. Lurk, my goodness, though, this is just too easy for the side of Cabal, as they're almost up by 100.
Yeah, since you listed him off in the beginning of the game, this man has been on a tear. Lurk is kind of like that simp to a Beezy, just applying that pressure, getting into any corner that he can. As his teammates Nimble or even Introvert are there on the outskirts, applying the pressure through the spawns of the side of cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac can't even get out of their spawn, really. It's now about to be a 130-point game. Not exactly what you want if you're cul-de-sac, but cul-de-sac really needs to apply this pressure in this back P4, because this P4 is a do or die hill.
It is do or die time right now for the cul-de-sac. They do not want to go down here early to Cabal, as it looks like Teddy, though, he's kind of filling in this role pretty well. 22 and 17 is slaying out, being on that AR. The only issue is you just do not have a lot of time on the hill. And when you are finding these doubles, that's the crazy thing for the cul-de-sac right now. They are getting the kills. It's just they haven't been able to capitalize on the time. Finally, they get 4 down. They need to be able to get the last 40.
Yeah, like you said, they need to get this last 40. That'll put them about the 150 to 210 ratio. It's going to be Copto trying to play for the back, but it's going to be Teddy Roosevelt applying that pressure back, getting that kill. Introvert here all by himself for the side of Cabal. He does have number 3 coming off that spawn. Nimble trying to break through the back. Gunfights are going to go through. Dingo with 1, Hooligan with 1 as well, and the trades are going to go in favor of the boys at cul-de-sac. But it looks like it's going to be Hooligan taking that deep underground route, but it's going to be Lurk possibly trying to attack this last 13 seconds.
I think he's playing for position right here. I don't know if he wants the time. He goes in, but he still takes the gunfight. But too many members are there, and showing a little bit of life here from the cul-de-sac. Can they mount a little bit more here on the P1? We go to our third set of rotations, and they are there early. Introvert is in a solid position towards that P2. But as long as you are Kaizen, win this 1v1 on a point, and you're going to be sitting in such a great spot. But look at the movement from Introvert. You're not expecting that reposition, and immediately just chipping away, getting closer to that 250 mark.
Yeah, I do want to point out 3 people from the side of Cabal have over a minute in the objective, which is a very rare sight. Not a lot of people do that. It is going to be, though, Introvert coming in with that key 2-piece, breaking into that P1, potentially get the rest of the scrap time, as he is going to take down a third. Lurk there with the assistance as well, and it's going to be Lurk over there in that just applying the pressure off the spawn of the boys of cul-de-sac, as it is going to be 232 to 155. It is going to be P2 rotation, though, in favor of Cabal. If you are cul-de-sac, this is just a screw the scrap, push through, try to retake the P2 spawns.
This has been your kryptonite here if you're the cul-de-sac. You have had the rotation twice on this P2, so now they're going to try their hand at finding the break, and I just don't know. It might be a tad bit too late for this one, as Nimble comes in, finds the kills. The player on the hill wins his one. That should be it. One final contest from the Teddy himself, and he comes in and actually gets a really awkward timing, slides through and lows the whole clip, and he still can't finish the kill. This is a map 1 victory for Cabal.
Yeah, absolutely insane map number one. And I want to point out a key factor that you just said, Gref, is where you said that they rotated early every P2 and every single one they ended up losing, which is not what you want, especially with P2 being such a money hill. When you get that setup, it's a 3-lane setup. You can go from mid, right, or left. No matter what Cabal did, they broke through every single time. And to really specify, introvert or lurk, we're getting 3 to 4 pieces. And that is not what you want if you are the side of cul-de-sac.
And you look at the side of the non-traded kills, honestly, it's not that much of a disparity. Yeah, you have Lurk, who's 22 or 28 and 22, and then Introvert 28 and 21. He found 22 non-traded, but on the other end, everybody else was finding 14 to 17. So they all kept on par with each other. So kind of just coming into this one, a little bit of a slow roll, but you knew this would be an uphill battle. And when you go into a map to a search and destroy, and on a map like Rewind, this is where having those new substitutes come on in can be incredibly difficult here, Raven, because you're just not going to have that chemistry and knowing what everybody wants to do. So somebody has to take control and say, hey, no matter what, just let me be your voice of God here in this map. Follow what I say. I think that's the only way they're going to be able to come away with these searches.
Yeah, like you said, trying to fill in those 2 spots that they had to on the side of cul-de-sac, and obviously the chemistry and the bond that the boys of Cabal have, especially now the motivation and the confidence on the Cabal side after winning such a heavily favored map in map number 1. This rewind S&D is going to be a very interesting take for me. I've casted a lot of rewinds, and honestly, the offensive rounds are going to be a key factor for me. Defense heavily supported on that map, so I'm kind of curious to see how this team's do on the offensive side.
I love that Rewind got thrown back into the rotation. It was in initially, then got taken out, then put back in. So I don't know why it got taken out in the first place. Everybody's like, oh, this map is trash. I'm like, no, you players are trash. Go and find a better map, and they couldn't. So then they had to go back to it. So, but yes, you said you've casted a lot of Rewind, and I think this has been a fan favorite over the course of the year due to the fact is it allows a lot of variety. It allows a lot of that creativity for some of these submachine guns. Yes, when you go towards the chicken store, the chicken restaurant, there isn't a whole lot of sustenance there, right? Like it's just maybe one person watches that lane or on either side, or they just decide, hey, we're all going to go in towards the movie store, over towards the generator rooms, and just have some of these battles. But there's so many nooks and crannies you can escape in. I think that's what makes this map exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Through that burger, side, or chicken, whichever you want to call it, it is a very versatile section of the map. You can go and hide in the restaurant. You can hit the flip car right outside. There's the top drive-through corner, that a lot of people like to play. My key factor in this map, in my opinion, from my casting experience, is going to be that generator section. How can teams, manipulate the generators inside gens to zig, to go into that outer RV, towards that B bomb site, whether if you're on offense or defense. I think that's going to be my key takeaway, because I know a lot of teams have been very aggressive through there, especially with their sub players. So I'm kind of curious to see how they do on that. But no bias here. I'm here for a good. I want a map number 7. Honestly, I want to see a red card. If I'm being honest, so I'm hoping that cul-de-sac takes this map.
Hey, and this is probably the last match or probably the last series for the the Black Ops 6 season. Nobody's playing this game anymore. They're all playing Battlefield as a little placeholder for Black Ops 7 to come out. And so this is going to be the last time, and let's make it a good one. Let's go to a map 7. Let's have that rewind for me. That would be an incredible treat, because I'm probably not going to be casting this for the rest of the season, which is only 1 week away. So
yeah, a week and a half, something like that. Yeah,
something. But let's hop right back on into it. Cul-de-sac, they need to round everybody up. They need to have a neighborhood watch here and make sure they can come away and find everybody that is lurking in through the movie store. That's going to be Cabal Omega. And again, this is one of those series where you have to come out swinging. When it comes to search, get off to that fast foot early.
Yeah, like you said, you try to build up that pace a little bit, build up that confidence, obviously. Now, because you're going to be on that back foot off of that map number 1, but it is going to be the side of Cabal, though, on the offensive side. It's going to be Lurk, like I said, getting through that zig side. It is going to be Introvert, though, with the first blood. But it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a slower push on the defensive side for the side of cul-de-sac.
And I don't mind this. They're just kind of grouping up, and maybe that's one of those strategies where you kind of have to resort to this type of situation, making sure you're holding each other's angles. You can't allow a lot of freedom right now with having so many new players, unless if you just feel confident where somebody's like, you know what, he's going to be the guy to make plays. But so far, Hooligan, he gets that equalizer, and look at this aggression coming through. Great read from Hooligan again. Now it comes down to a 1v2, but you have to deal with the two slayers here on the side of Cabal in Introvert and Lurk.
Yeah, and Introvert it's just sitting there, one of my favorite corners personally on this map. I love playing that ratty little orange crate corner. Unfortunately, Hooligan does not check that corner. He does get shot in the back, but it's going to be first round in favor of Cabal. Like you said, the slower pace when you have two new players coming in for a team, you can easily tell in that round number one that it was very slow paced play. You had the one player on B-bomb and two sitting in that court section. I'm not too sure where the person on Colsack got blooded. I think he got blooded towards that main street section. Not really what you want there either as well. Trying to throw in two mean shoulders, giving that free one away. But hey, it's round number one. Get your feet a little wet, start to build up that momentum here.
I know everything I need to know about you now, Raven. Sitting behind that corner, being the trash that you are behind the dumpster. That is ruthless out here. I always just go out for the gunfights, but there's a reason why I don't play Search and Destroy anymore. So you would obviously gun me straight up because I just don't. And Hooligan, he gets an equalizer, but Lurk, he will fall, as it looks like this is going to be a little bit of a slow play around here.
Hey, nah, I'll tip that S&D play real quick. I do wear the Master Splinter skin, by the way, just so everyone knows. But it's going to be Hooligan, though, for the side of Cul-de-sac with that bomb in hand. And again, another slow push here. Not really pushing up, not even really leaving their spawn, per se. But, Introvert, though, in that LE section, trying to wait for some information to give his teammates that are going to be playing that back B site. But, 43 seconds lies on the clock. Introvert does take down Hooligan, as it is going to be a 2v3 situation here for the two new boys of Cul-de-sac, Roosevelt and Dingo.
As the two ARs, and they were playing incredibly passive, like you were saying. Nobody really wanting to get pushed up. And once you had Kaizen fall, you have to find some sort of opening in this 2v3. 20 seconds left. You're leaving everything to the clock, and it's going to put you essentially in this 1v3, and that's exactly what's happening. But oh my God, Teddy. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. The man trying to clutch.
Yeah, big two-piece out of the boy, Teddy. The bomb is going to go down, but it's going to be Cope, though, getting some stun information. The gunfight's going to go through. What's going to happen here? It's going to be a ring around the rosy. Cope putting down some shots. Teddy putting down some shots. It's going to be a T1v1. It's going to be Cope taking the one. No, unfortunate for Teddy, though. I feel like he did waft a couple bullets there, so it's going to be Cope from the side of Cabal taking that to go up 2-0 in this map. Not exactly the round we thought was going to happen. Unfortunately, Teddy was not able to pull away that 1v3, but hey, he was so close.
He had the reads, too. He had everything in the palm of his hand, and if he maybe popped that plant a little bit sooner and just had that extra additional second to reposition, he might have caught him in mid-sprint, but you're just going to look back and say, hey, those are one of those moments. That's a 50-50 that you are going to have to take, but good stuff getting it into that 1v1. Unfortunately, he got put into almost a no-win situation once they were 20 seconds down and had to get the bomb plant. But here we go. Two players for the side of Cabal pushing in towards that outer RV, and looks like they're going to slow play everything once again, but a very similar setup to the defensive opening round for the side of Cul-de-sac.
Yeah, very, Cul-de-sac being stacked in basically inside this courtyard, I very question it. It kind of, gives me a lot of anxiety, if I'm going to be honest with you. That's going to be, you got Cabal, who's also kind of playing slow, waiting for someone to give some kind of information, get jiggle peeked or something, but it's not going to be the case. Nobody's going to really be giving any free kills or free lives here. But it's going to be Introvert, though. Here in this key corner on this B side, it's going to be one taken down, though. That's going to be Nimble getting blooded, but it's going to be two going down for the side of Cul-de-sac, as Introvert's going to push up out of this B site, does take that one, and does take down the second. The slow play out of the side of Cabal ended up working there, unfortunately for the boys of Cul-de-sac. I feel like they weren't really, I don't know what the comms are like, but, maybe they were all watching too many of the same things, kind of leaving some lanes open.
Having too many eyes in the same area leaves a lane open, but you still did find the blood. Unfortunately, you just weren't able to capitalize upon it, and you didn't have any space there, Raven. So they were working with essentially no information, and they were giving that entire map over to the side of Cabal. They were basically saying, hey, plan it, and we're just going to straight up play for the retake. But I think you got to be aggressive here with your ARs. Yeah, number 7 and number 8, they're going to be stacked up on top of each other, and if you're going to push out towards this burger, you got to do it, and you got to do it quick.
Yeah, like we said, playing that aggression, try to, take your teammate or take the other team by storm, and that's just not the case. No one's died yet in this. Now you see the side of cul-de-sac doing basically almost the same exact setup, just reverse streets that the side of Cabal did last round. Gunfights are going through. No one's really playing aggressive, getting, active on a bomb site. And it's Kaizen, though, still sitting towards his back spawn with the bomb yet again with 45 seconds left. Right now, this is what you do not want if you're side of the cul-de-sac on this rewind SMD.
Yeah, nobody's even gotten close to the 50-yard line. This ain't a Cam Little field goal attempt right here. We're not trying to kick 70-yarders. Somebody needs to get pushed up and try to make a play here, or at least push together with the 3-stack. And again, you're doing this to the clock here, Raven. I mean, you're 25 seconds and you are finally getting pushed up, but you do find that first kill. The only issue is 15, and they still know you haven't planted.
Yeah, you got 12 seconds now. As you're going to see, I don't know what number that is. He's going to be coming through that zig. It's actually going to be Lurk taking down 1, but it's going to be trades coming in. It's going to be Lurk, though, in the 1v3. Does get the bomb planner. He gets away with his life, and that's going to be a round win for Cabal. Like you said, planting that bomb so late at 12 seconds, being able to get shot in the back, giving the round to Cabal. I was asked this question. I can't remember who really asked me this. I think it was Calamity, Z Calamity, last time I was testing it. Actually, no, it was Corpse. Corpse asked me, he's like, why do players, plant the bomb so late, or why do they hop on the point and control so late? And you know what? I don't know, but it's absolute stupidity, in my opinion. Like, you leave yourself no room to kind of, get a post plan off to make your move, whatever, to get into a better situation. You plan it, and then you get caught in the back, like what happened there. So.
And they took out the entire street side, so where they were trying to plant didn't really matter. Yeah, you got the player who was kind of isolated, but you knew everybody was still going to be towards the inside of this rewind room. And once again, it's the same setup here for the cul-de-sac, and they are going to give them the plant, and so they are going to eventually play for this 4v4 retake. The issue is, how are you going to retake this one? You have to find some sort of isolated player, and it's going to be Introvert, but he already takes down 1 and gets away with his life.
Yeah, it's going to be Dingo getting blooded there on this offensive side for the side of Cabal, as it is going to be a 4v3 situation. The retake needs to come in for the side of cul-de-sac. Roosevelt gets 1, but he does get traded out by Lurk almost immediately. Gunfights are going through. Down goes Lurk. Big wins here if you are the side of cul-de-sac, but you only have 10 seconds left, and it looks like it's going to be a 5-0 S&D lead, Mr. Graff.
That's 5-0, and right now the attack and the defensive rounds from the cul-de-sac looks like you're watching Menaces right now. Nobody wants to pick up their feet and start to move forward early. So I think, you know what? You're down 5-0. Why not take the sprint? Why not just go in guns a-blazing, trying to overwhelm? And the one thing I also notice here is use your tacticals. I see a lot of people who are dying with a stun and a nade on your belt. That is going to be the utility usage to gain information, to give you that edge in the gunfight. So it's the small details you got to do right.
Now, like you said, it's kind of, the Menaces. It's like I'm watching grass grow, honestly. But it's going to be Kaizen, though, opening up the round with the first blood, trying to get, push up on this bomb site, potentially get it down, but it's going to be nimble. Getting a trade as well. The gunfights are going to go in. Down goes Kaizen. Now it's going to be a 1v3 for Mr. Teddy Roosevelt once again. Does he have it in him, Mr. Graff?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, all the gunfights are technically isolated, so he can somehow lurk on in, and there he does catch one on the cope. So I could never count out Teddy. But right now, I thought he maybe saw him, and he's trying to play for the information game, and now he knows where at least one is. The opportunity's there.
Yeah, like you said, all the gunfights are isolated if given the opportunity. It is going to be a 1v2, 26 seconds left. He does have more time than he's ever given himself. He does take down one. He's going to be in a 1v1 now with Introvert, the same, or it's actually not the same individual, but 16 seconds left on the clock. Looking to go towards this B site. It's going to be number 4 Introvert, though, taking that outer RV route. Let's see what can happen here. Introvert potentially getting the good timing, and that's going to be the case. Down goes Teddy potentially, and that's going to be the case.
Oh, and again, it's just
I'm sad.
it's that hesitation. Again, if you get that bomb plant down a second or 5 seconds sooner, he's kind of waiting for that second gunfight, and it just was never there. Again, it's one of those 50-50 moments, but hesitation kills in my eyes, and it's a 6-0. You find yourself down the barrel 0-2 if you're the cul-de-sac right now, and it's not looking too pretty.
It is not. I don't want to, put out a reference here, but I have to because I called out Safari from the boy of 07 Esports for this one a couple of weeks ago for a league match. The boy, I think Dingo, just joined the agency.
Oh my goodness! Did we get that comms? Did Daniel Craig find his replacement? Spoiler alert: if anybody did not watch that movie, he dies. So
now we're all sad. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And it is terribly sad in the movie too. So, but going back to the series, we're loading up. You get a triple hacienda, and this is one of those maps where it kind of feels like it could be the ace in the pocket, right? Is because everybody feels like they're always comfortable on this map. So maybe that's kind of what you need to get back to, is have that comfortability. The only issue is you're going into control first, and this is one that could really start to spiral out of control. It's not like protocol where you get put into these ridiculous spawn traps. It's the amount of angles the other team can hold, and the entryways make it so difficult if you go 4 down early.
Yeah, and another thing that I can point out on Hacienda, and I'm gonna kind of go towards the hard point a little bit on this one, where you have people like Introvert or Lurk, like I said on that P2 situation, kind of like how you said, being able to just retake the map within a snap of a finger, taking down those 2, if not all 4 in a kill feed, that's not what you want if you're cul-de-sac going into this control. You got to be able to keep up with them, pushing up into your base, getting aggressive. Make sure you're playing together to clear out your spawn, because if you do not, it's going to be a quick control map in this hacienda because the spawn traps are absolutely brutal.
And one of the things that I hate when a player, when you're on that defense and somebody gets pushed up into that office room towards the steps, it is the most difficult to clear that man out in a 1v1 situation. Granted, you're either going to be caught running up those stairs, or if you even come close to that heady, he's just going to jump off the desk and just have that height to look down upon you. So you really got to play this one close to the chest. Everybody's kind of gearing up. Everybody's trying to get this one going. Raven, if you are the cul-de-sac, what are you saying in the comms right now to get this team back going?
I'm gonna try to keep this as PG as possible. I'm just gonna have to say, word to Conwa respectfully. Lock the fuck in. This is grand finals. You're playing for, I don't know what the prize pool is, but that's my words, because like I'm a competitive player. I go to LANs, I've played COD, so I know how it feels to be in certain situations like this where you're getting beaten down. That's what it feels like. New roster, you're going in, you lose 250-159 map 1, you get demoralized in the S&D, and now you are 2 maps away from losing arguably the biggest tournament of the year for yourself. And in the comms, you got to try to build your team up, lock in, just reevaluate what's going on within the comms to the map, and just have fun as well. Like, have fun with it. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I feel like once you're getting loose and you're actually like enjoying yourself, everything starts going your way.
It's easy to say that, right? When you're Cabal and everything is going your way and everything just hasn't seemed to for the cul-de-sac, somebody needs just to kind of lighten that mood, throw a joke in there or something, just kind of show out and say, hey guys, you know what? Like you said, hey, we might be down in this series, but let's just have fun with it. Let's start playing that looseness and start playing maybe some of those off angles. There is always a player when it comes to control or search when the person is just laying down in the middle of the room and you're like, what the hell is that guy doing there? It's just one of those gunfights that kind of makes you chuckle at times just to get an easy one. And sometimes that's all you need to spark that flame and really start to roar.
No, exactly. You know, and I will throw this tip in there. I went to the South Carolina land back in August, and I took a little trick from a newly COD pro named Mercules. He always had that rag next to him. If you ever watched the pro scene, he always had a rag, wiped his hands down, you know, because they'd all be sweaty and gross, because that's usually what happens. I started doing that myself, and I tell you, it feels great. So gamers from Cabal or Cul-de-sac, if you're watching, wipe your hands, because I guarantee you they're sweaty.
Sweaty or wash the hands. Goodness, I see people coming out of the bathroom and nobody washes their hands. I don't like that. But, you know, dry them off when it is needed here in the series. You got to just absolutely, like you said, lock in. Shout out to the man Conway, as he is he's pure comedy as well. I love that you threw him in there. And just having that confidence going back into it. But let's kind of talk a little bit further out and show our appreciation to the Elite Warfare Gaming League, right? And everybody behind the scenes who has been making this possible. I mean, we have Dre, who is on the production scene right now as he's coming in and making this super smooth for us. And then Devontae helping run this league, and all the admins over the course of this year having to deal with so many feuds, Raven. I used to run a Discord league for 2 seasons, and I'm like, you know what? I'm outie. I'm just going to go cast, because some of the issues y'all have to deal with is ridiculous, but we want to shout out and show our love and appreciation for making leagues like this possible.
Oh, exactly. You know, this is honestly, I think, my second or third match ever casting for EWG. I just joined literally like a month ago, so it's absolutely nothing but love and appreciation from, you know, them as an organization and league hosters as well. You know, and shout out Dre. You know, this guy's a GOAT. If y'all do not appreciate Dre in the chat, you guys are all gonna wake up and it's gonna be raining tomorrow. So, you know, make sure you show love to him. Make sure you show love to EWG. You know, make sure you go follow Graph the Draft on Twitter, by the way, because the guy's handsome. He's a GOAT. You know, and he's my handsome co-host. Come on now.
You know, I'm not a goat. I'm just a giraffe. That's all I want to be. I don't need to be the goat. I just want to be a giraffe. I just got some speckles on me and a long ass neck, is what I like to say. Just luckily, I kind of grown into it. But right now, we're gonna be going on in, and we're gonna go cut it to a little break because we had one player having issues loading on in. So everybody, don't go anywhere. The grand finals will continue between Cul-de-sac and Cabal Omega after this.
Oh my. Oh my god! Oh my god! oi. Dad, oh.
Oh, good win.
22. Oh my god! Number 3 draft. What do you think is going to happen?
Maybe this is kind of what you needed. Have a little bit of a break, get that reprieve here for the cul-de-sac, and get your feet out underneath you, and just make sure you have a firm stance. But right now, it's the attacking round for Cope as he hops in. The point gives one, and then, oh my goodness, what a peach of a nade as he finds another. But you know who's kind of been on a tear? It's been Hooligan, it's been Teddy. These have been the guys who have found those kills to really keep this one relatively close. The only issue is it's a little bit more rare. And then finally, Kaizen showing up in the feed, getting to these are the type of moments that you need.
Yeah, you know, Lurk popping off again in this respawn like he did in the map number 1, getting that 4 kills as he is going to get shut down, though. And you know, like you said, you know, guys, shout out Hooligan. This guy has been trying to apply the similar pressure that the side of Introvert and Lurk have been doing for the side of Cabal, but it's going to be 3 life advantage for the side of Cabal. The gunfights are going to go through, but it is going to be Introvert being dropped there. It's going to be number 44 Lurk, though. Trying to push on the flank, does get traded down. It's going to be all up to Kaizen, though. Down goes Nimble. It's going to be all up to Introvert for this side of Cabal, and it looks like this B point might be captured fully.
That was such a awkward gunfight for Kaizen. I thought he was about to lose it. He ends up coming through. But there was a good little retake moment where 2 players were there. I think it was Kaizen and DeBoy Dingo. They waited patiently to the final second. They had 1 player slide on in once they kind of knew the area of the enemy. And so far, they're holding on to this one here, Raven. They are not giving it up easily.
No, like I said, I thought that B point was very close to being captured. And the side of cul-de-sac just, you know, gave him a big hard no. Was able to capitalize, being able to retake the map a little bit here, trying to, you know, rewrite the script here in this series, you know, as they go down 2-0, you know, trying to bring back that momentum. You know, like I said, you know, if they get shut back in that spawn trap, that is not what you want at all. Giving Cabal, you know, the little smelling salts, you know, getting them a little excited here. But it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac being up 3 lives.
And right now, yeah, they have everything. This is perfect. They somehow fought this one back, and it was just due to straight grit and determination. But Introvert, oh my goodness. Oh no. And he gets to, this is worst case scenario. You have 7 seconds, and you have to stop the clock here if you're Introvert. But he's just going to play for a little bit of positioning. Unfortunately, both players went a separate way. You left isolated, and now you get overwhelmed. But a solid defensive stand, and what a way to bounce back here for the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, big wins for the side of cul-de-sac. You know, that was a key defense, you know, only allowing 2 ticks, I believe, throughout that round. You know, so if they can try to push this through, you know, a potential round number 5, they should be able to, you know, potentially have that defensive advantage. But, now you're on the offensive side. How do you, as the side of cul-de-sac, rewrite the history of Hacienda offenses? Do you play for that A site, or do you try to play aggressive, getting that B point capture, as they do need to at least get 2 ticks here to even it out. But it's going to be the side of Cabal, a little bit slower starts than we've seen, in the map number 1 and 2. But, I do got to shout out Kaizen, though. +7 on a 4 for the side of cul-de-sac.
And we're talking about how Teddy and Hooligan have been holding their own, but now I think it's the player who's been here since the start. It's been Kaizen, and unfortunately, as soon as we go to him, the caster curse came into full effect. You allow a triple for Lurk, as he is doing exactly that, but you have 3 players come in right off the respawn, and you're going to find yourself right back into the screen yourself. But Introvert comes in, and I like this. Look at how you are playing this one. You're getting the trades, and that's exactly what the side of cul-de-sac need to do.
Yeah, big wins, though, out of Kaizen. He does get taken down early because, Dre was the producer on him and gave him the caster curse, unfortunately. But, he comes back off the spawn, pushes up to that top light section. Obviously does get taken down there, but applies that pressure a little bit early. Being able to open up the spawn point a little bit for his team to push up in his top light section. It's going to be Lurk, though, for the side of Cabal, trying to play this back B side a little bit. Nimble, though, playing in that cheeky little well corner, getting 1. Lurk taking down 2. Big wins for the side of Cabal. Now they are able to apply that pressure, potentially get the side of cul-de-sac into that spawn trap.
We haven't talked about Nimble or Cope enough either. In particular, Nimble. I feel like I just haven't said his name a whole lot because sometimes you want to be the ghost on the map and you're just doing what your team needs to be. You are that Swiss Army knife. You're being the mechanic. When something breaks down, you're always there and are having the right part in hand to allow the rest of your team to succeed. And that's what he's doing right now. But Cope somehow slides out and almost got that kill. But in the final moments, again here, Raven, the determination is starting to shine through here for Cul-de-sac.
Yeah, cul-de-sac, being able to get those 2 ticks on the B, being able to even out the tick count. And, kind of like I want to make a point here off your Nimble column, the Swiss Army knife for, the mechanic, the guy that is always kind of overlooked but does everything right by his team to make the map easier. That reminds me a lot of like Karma back in the Optic Dynasty. He was not the heaviest slayer, and he was just the one that did all the dirty work to make his teammates look good. And that is the case here. Big wins for the side of Cabal, though, being able to win that defense. But the ticks are going to be evened out at 2-2. So I'm really curious to see who actually ends up winning the tick advantage going into these next couple offenses.
And Damon Barlow being that guy, like you said, the mechanic, and we miss him. We miss all the OG COD players that now it's just filled in with people who want to run and gun and not play the game properly. They don't want to snipe. They don't want to do smokes. They don't want to have to use their brain, it feels like, half the time. But hey, we're not here. We're not there. We're in the moment right now, and it seems to be a Lurk. It is 16-10. This is the kind of start that you want to get off to for the side of Cabal. Is they just want to get out of this series with a 4-0.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. That was probably one of the hottest starts on this Hacienda control that we've seen. Lurk pushing to that top light section, able to take down a couple, Nimble a couple for himself as well. And it's going to be another B stack for the side of Cabal. 1 tick does go through on the B. The second tick was almost fully through, but it's going to be Cope, though, progressing that second tick as he is going to get shot out by Dingo. Dingo with the takedown. Now, it's going to be the boys of Cabal pushing to that top open section, applying some pressure onto A. It's going to be Kaizen, though, trying to apply some pressure himself, does get traded down, but it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac on the back foot.
This almost feels like a copy and paste of that first attacking round. You win the opening engagements, and then you get 2 ticks, and you're just not able to close out and get that minute extension here, Raven. You need to be able to do it, because as soon as you do, you end up just being able to play for the kills, and that's what I feel like Cabal is strong at, is playing for the kills and winning these engagements. And when you're trying to play for the long game, it allows openings like this. It allows these players from cul-de-sac to get into a good position to find some clean gunfights, and guess what? You're right back to where you started.
Yeah, and I do want to point out something. I think Hooligan, and unfortunately I'm going to roast you here if you're watching the rebroad, I'm sorry. I think he was at like a 3-15 a little bit ago. Or if he was 5-15, now he's 11-16. Being able to take that that personal performance up a notch to be able to help his teammates. As it is going to be though, Cabal almost on this third tick onto this 3-point, but it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac off the spawn, applying more pressure back, being able to take down Lurk. Not what you want if you're on the side of Cabal. It's going to be 14-11, but it's the second tick potentially onto A as well, and it's going to be Nimble though working on this B point.
I like this position by Lurk, and this is one of those off angles that's going to piss you off, and he does it. He executes it perfectly, and you're down in lives. You're down in lives, 7v12, but I think you have I can't see. I'm partially colorblind. The color is too close to gray and light blue or whatever the hell, but is it 2 ticks on A right now? Because I can't even see it.
Yeah, 2 ticks on the A.
2 ticks onto A, but we were talking about how Hooligan was having a slow game, has picked it up. Hope on the other end is 6 and 17. He just finds a kill there, but he just has not been able to get himself moving.
No, unfortunately for the side of Cabal, you got Cope not having the strongest performance, but he was there for the map number 1 and 2. But, just a little bit of progression on A is only needed for the side of Cabal. So 1 team wipe they need, and they will be able to run away with this offense. But it's going to be 2 players from the side of cul-de-sac jumping down, trying to value their lives a little bit here, as we are going to be up to 7 and 3 lives. But it's going to be Cabal potentially with the last laugh, and that's going to be the case. Oh, not what you want if you are the side of cul-de-sac, not being able to give up that free offense. I feel like the post setup there off that last spawn was not really ideal. Obviously, you had Teddy playing that top post section, was able to get the 1 at a time, but then the 2 players from the side of cul-de-sac flew onto that A site and were able to give their backs up for free.
And somebody, I think, was trying to play a super deep spawn. I wasn't sure if that he maybe came in right off of a death or if he was just kind of holding in the back. But yeah, an awkward setup, I think, for the cul-de-sac right there. Again, they are getting it done, though, when it comes to the kills department. Teddy was on 6 in a row. Kaizen, he has been on a heater this game. So maybe this is that moment where you can flip the script and turn the odds in your favor. And I will make a Hunger Games reference.
Oh, we love the references down here. But it's going to be, Cope, he's going to be 7 and 18, which is a shocker scoreline when you got your team leading the series, leading this map 2-1. But it's going to be Hooligan, getting shot down. Cope potentially with a second one. But it is going to be life advantage for the side of cul-de-sac. But it's going to be a 5 spree for the side of Introvert. For the boys, like Cabal is actually going to be on a 6. About 150 away from that hailstorm, which could completely change the dynamic of this map, especially onto that B site.
It absolutely can, and he is maybe, I think, 2 kills away from being able to earn it. Maybe 1 if he hops onto a point and finds it. So his life right now means the most on this squad. And yeah, maybe you can give up a tick or 2. But so far, Kaizen, he is sliding, he is moving, he is grooving. But it is Introvert with a 2-piece. He goes on 9. He earns the streak. 30 seconds left. I mean, this one could be all over, but you're somehow still fighting tooth and nail for the side of cul-de-sac.
Introvert, going on that 9 streak was absolutely impressive. And unfortunately, I don't want to jinx it. And hopefully he doesn't do it. But a lot of players that have done that have went all in that attack helo. And unfortunately, screw over their team a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But like you said, the pressure is being applied by Cabal. It is the side of cul-de-sac, though, reapplying that pressure, getting onto that A point, potentially to force into the round number 5. The second tick, though, goes on A, as they do have 1 on B. The dealer, though, coming over the top, does take that 1. So these are going to come through, but it's going to be Teddy coming in with the assistance, getting 1, and it's going to be all up to Cope here for the side of Cabal.
He gets caught out as well, so yeah, your most forward push man, he will go down and not guns ablazing. You have a minute left. You can play for lives once again. This has been honestly kind of a masterclass when it comes to the kills department. You know exactly how you want to maneuver. We were talking about this map kind of being the ace in the hole, the ace in the pocket, because you never know when a team can just strike and they are getting the stack. I love this. Now nobody's going to be able to react fast enough, and we are going to a round 5.
I do want to point out something that did just happen at the end of that map. Introvert, who was fully streaked out, did lag out of the map.
Oh.
Introvert, who had the Hellstorm in hand, did end up lagging out of the map there at the very end. So I believe the scoreline obviously is going to stay into round 5, but unfortunately though, he is going to be down without the streaks. I don't know. I don't know really how the feeding streaks go into a map number or round number 5 on a control personally. So, but it's going to be introvert though lagging out. I don't know if they're going to end it or if they're going to keep continuing on with the map. But big round though for the side. Oh, introvert is back. Okay. So we're not going to end it. Introvert did end up joining back, but he's not going to have any streaks, unfortunately, though, for the side of the boys of Cabal, though. They are going to fall on that, but big wins for the side of Cul-de-sac. Being able to apply more pressure, trying to get onto that 2-point will play out and capture it. But it's going to be Hooligan, though, currently on that 3 streak, taking down. I think that's going to be Nimble in the kill feed. Lurk, though, and Introvert starting off hot yet again, applying that pressure early in that bottom con section, but it's going to be Kaizen getting the last laugh, going up onto that 5 streak.
And you want him to get streaked out. Sometimes you need the skill, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And right now, the COD gods, they must be answering the call saying, hey, we are going to allow them to not have that streak. He's going to leg out and spawn in just in time for the round to start. And you're on defense. This is best case scenario for the cul-de-sac. Is Teddy holding on to the angles, not able to find the kill, eventually does track him down like he is a bloodhound, 27 and 22. And look at Cope. He's starting to pull things back, sitting at double negative, but it was better than triple. Still, you are in such a good position here for cul-de-sac. They are not giving any inches to the side of the ball.
No, they are not letting the side of Cabal push up whatsoever. They are applying pressure anywhere on the map, whether if it's top halls or onto the sites. Unfortunately, the side of Cabal, they weren't able to really rally that last round. And like I said in that first offensive round for the side of cul-de-sac, they were able to even out the ticks. They were going to potentially force their round 5 defense up. But 2 ticks go on to be here for the side of Cabal. But it's going to be cul-de-sac trying to collapse and trying to break through. It's going to be Tingo with a team kill, but does take down one Hooligan with one of his own. It's going to be all up to Introvert for the side of Cabal over the top down. He goes 22. Is West in this round. It's going to be Hooligan taking the pistol out. Nimble takes down 2 big wins for the side of Hooligan and the boys. Find, of course, a potential map number 5 in this series.
Yeah, they are trying. They're doing everything they can. And now Teddy, he finds a 2-piece. But a good nade there from Introvert. And Kaizen, he comes in. Can Kaizen make the play? Can Kaizen make the play? He does. But he's going to go down. Are the reinforcements going to get there quick enough? The contest is in. Cope doesn't know where to look. Can he stay alive long enough for his teammates to get to him?
6 seconds left for the boys at the ball. They only have 3 lives to the cul-de-sac for team. Hooligan coming in, Kaizen with 1 as well, and that is going to be game, set, map in favor of the boys of cul-de-sac.
Oh my goodness! I'm hearing. I was hearing some good funky music and some good funky vibes, and you needed it. Kaizen 30 and 17. You needed a masterclass, but I want to go back to that. I think maybe a few gunfights before the last, it was Dubois Dingo. I think taking out Introvert or Lurk, it was such a big gunfight. If he didn't win that minute is getting extended and then maybe allows an opportunity. But going back to the COD gods, Raven, you have that cruise missile in hand if you're Introverts, and then you just lose it in the dying seconds when you leg out. And so you're going to think if they maybe had that, this one could have been going the other way.
Yeah, I feel like Introvert should have probably just stayed lagged out. I don't know what the rules are here in the EWG, but if this was any other league that I know the rules of pretty by hand, reset the map, feed streaks, do whatever the round is to do whatever for which team. Because in my opinion, that streak could have done something on that B site because it's pretty open. But at the same time, we don't know if it could have. It's 50-50. What ifs? That's the world we live in nowadays. And I know every day that us humans go by and we live by, what if we did this? What if we did that? But you know what? It doesn't work that way. So unfortunately, they will drop in that map number 3. But hey, that means we're going to see another map and be blessed with you guys in the chat, giving us some energy. I see all the MVP chants and all that stuff and all the love that you guys are showing in the chat. So we appreciate it. But, Graph, Hacienda S&D. Or sorry, no. Hacienda Hardpoint is what we're going into next.
This is, oh man, this is a tough one to call because you've been having that submachine gun present with Lurk and Introvert, right? But you've been having to deal with the AR and Teddy. Teddy has been electric. This guy has been finding kills, and I think he is going to be that aggressive AR. And sometimes if you're that boy Dingo, you need to sometimes just take that backseat and be the anchor. You just cannot be losing some of those 1v1s when you have a heady, and just stay alive long enough for your teammates to come in and assist you. And he got a huge gunfight in that last round that I think really changed the tides and allowed them to get here in at least a 2-1 series count. And then Hooligan, he had his moment. Kaizen finally had a pop-off map that we've been looking for. And so now on the other end, you're looking at Cope, you're looking at Nimble to really have a rebound here, but it's tough to say.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too. I believe whoever wins this map is going to take the series. This is the last hard point in the series, which is going to be a Hacienda hard point. Other than that, after that, we have S&D control S&D. So I believe whoever takes this hard point will take the series. Reason being is because the S&D and controls, those can go either way, obviously, but I feel like this map is going to be a real stepping stone in the presence of your motivation and within the comms of, like, you know, the composure that I would like to say, you know, especially for the side of cul-de-sac. You know, they win this map number 3, build up that momentum a little bit within the comms. You know, like I said, you know, lock in, word to Conwa, lock in, reevaluate your situation, you know, go on to the next one. They were able to scrape by with this one. So Hacienda Hardpoint, lock in.
Lock in, and it's going to be your money hills that are going to be the key factors. It's the P2s, it's the P5s, I think. Yeah, this is the only map that has a P5 rotation. So, or is it? I'm trying to think. Man, it's been a long time since I've been able to commentate this map. So, but it's going to be that Rock Hill. It's going to be the P2, that Lamborghini. Who has the keys to that showroom and just being able to secure a lot of that time, being able to absorb it. We've been talking about how these two teams, it kind of felt like it was a David and Goliath, but finally David is starting to step up right now. He's got the stones in the sling and he's ready to fling them.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely excited for this next map, honestly. You know, that first map was a little bit of a shaky one for the boys of cul-de-sac. You know, the first hardpoint was a 250 to 159 show out in that skyline. You know, Hacienda is a lot different, where you have to play a little bit slower, play more fundamental, you know, play for those back spawns, play for those money hills, like you said, P2, P4, or no, sorry, P2 and P5. Geez, P4 is fence hill. Don't touch that one. That one sucks. But P2 and P5 are going to be your big ones here. So we're going to kick it to a short break real quick, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you all for tuning in as we wait for this map to load in. And yeah, thank you guys for chilling out with us.
Oh my. Oh my god!
Warfare Gaming League Group C. My name's Graph the Draft, joined by the Raven himself. We're heading on into the Hacienda Hardpoint. It's a 2-1 lead for Cabal after dropping that control in the Hacienda. Raven, I mean, they're showing signs of life here, and I think they might be able to pull this one back.
Yeah, I gotta say, big performance for the side of cul-de-sac. You know, I do gotta shout out the boy of Teddy Roosevelt and Kaizen. You know, I gotta say those are probably the two key players for the side of cul-de-sac that were able to help push them to that map number 3 win. You know, as they are going to be about taking the lead here for the side of cul-de-sac. Maybe about a 13 to 12 score line, but the P2 rotation is going to be in favor of the cul-de-sac. Once again, you know, this P2 is a key rotation, like you said in the pregame. You know, P2s and P5s are going to be key money hill rotations here. The knife kill, though, does go down on the Kaizen, but it's going to be the boys of cul-de-sac here on this P2. Let's see what the boys of Cabal can do.
Oh, and you thought you had a good setup, but you still have the respawns in your favor. Kaizen, a crucial 2-piece, and then his teammate slides in for the third. They were so good on the rotations in the map 1 and Skyline. They just were not able to hold. And Skyline is one of those like bang bang type breaks where it just happens so quick. And the Lamborghini isn't necessarily like that, but as I say that, it was bang bang, and now the side of Cabal's in.
Yeah, so I do want to say, chat did kind of correct. I felt like there was only 4 hills, and there is only 4 hills. So it's P2 and P4. So shout out chat for correcting us as casters. And we appreciate you because you know what? We don't really play that much, all right? Don't judge us. We're old. So it's going to be the side of good old cul-de-sac on this P3 rotation. You know, like you said again, you know, getting that P2 rotation was in their favor a little bit, but it is going to be the side of Cabal breaking through that P2, being able to get the last little bit of scrap. But it's only going to be about a 20-point lead.
Only going to be a 20-point lead, and Cope, he is having that pop-off. He's having that rebound game, 7 and 3, but the kill feed, it is all red. Keeping it close here for the side of cul-de-sac as they're starting to get a little bit more momentum there. Going to be that freight train not wanting to stop, but a break comes on in. Lurk and Nimble, they find all 3 as they find another break. Oh, I'm not sure if we lost Raven or not, but we'll be taking over here for just the moment as it's 9 and 6 here for Lurk. Finds himself on 3 in a row. Tries to pull out the knife, but Teddy gets him back. Are you kidding me? The knives are out like Daniel Craig, the detective, as Kaizen comes in with another kill. The Rock. This is where you have to lay down the law, secure a lot of this time. Now here comes the opening salvo. Do you have the kills? Do you have the gunny to win it? Kaizen falls. His teammates will fall, and another easy break here for Cabal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry, technical difficulties. It was connecting to my controller for some reason instead of my actual mic. I don't know why it was doing that, but hey, we're back. You know, big wins for Cabal. Obviously, it's going to be a Travert on that 5 streak as it's going to be 96 to 60 is your score line. You know, I got to say, Lurk, potential MVP of the series. You know, positive 5, 11 and 7 with 36 in the time, applying that open pressure now on a 3, and it's going to be Cabal leading about a 50 to 60 score line.
And right now, what we've kind of seen is one player from the past 2 maps here for Omega. They have just not had these hot starts, and this time it's Nimble. It's been Cope and Nimble having these hot and cold type moments. They need everybody to be clicking on all cylinders. You just can't be 1 and 7, and the kills are there. But when you have a Lurk who is finding 2 pieces like that to bail you out of the difficult situations, well, I guess it's okay to be starting off 1 and 7.
Yeah, you know, like you said, like the difference in like the way these players have been starting. You know, you had Cope last map starting a little slow. You know, he had like 3 kills to like his 12 deaths or something like that early in the control. You go into this one, Nimble's having the slower start for the side of Cabal. You know, but yet still leading by 60. Especially on a P1, being able to hold majority of that time is not what you want if you're cul-de-sac. P1 should be a complete either, you know, snooze test or white. White time is good time for this P1.
Yeah, white time is good time, and I'm not sure if we can do this at the moment, but I would love to hear the comms of cul-de-sac as they try to pull their way back to an even part in this series.
I'm in water right
in the
now.
back.
I'm just in water.
One more in the back. Nimble's in the back. Absolute. Well, he went statue.
He's looking water. He's looking water. Don't hop up. He's looking water.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just waiting on y'all.
One's pushed out rock.
He's still here.
Absolute lurk spiral.
I heard you. I'm just waiting on you guys. He's just sitting in the corner.
Yep.
We got
Push in
two
front with
in the lobby. We got 2 in the lobby.
One dead.
Dude.
Invert still checkers, dude.
Yeah, he's just watching a hop.
Nimble back statue, one side door as well.
I heard you.
Okay, we get one more break through the front here.
Yeah, try one more break.
Letting know.
Go
new.
I heard you. We don't
No,
know.
Yeah, we got one pushing a rock, one on new.
Dead.
I hear you.
On
Introvert cold.
new, my bad.
I hear you.
Playing
Introvert
time.
dead.
Nice, guys. We
Steady.
gotta be new. Guys, we're down 100 points.
Gotta
we
be
gotta
new.
Ooh, I'm not Raven hearing those comms. I mean, you could heard a little bit of frustration at the end. We couldn't necessarily know who was talking yet. You heard somebody say go new, and I think there was just a little bit of frustration kind of coming in when that player was sitting rock, but he was just finding those transitional kills. What are your kind of thoughts hearing those comms?
I feel like sometimes, in certain team comms, you can hear like the the emotions behind them, exaggerating some comms, sometimes they get lost a little bit, but over there it was not the case. They were exaggerating the comms, but they were clearing them up as saying dead or I got it, just clarifying that they're the teamwork is there, and which I do got to tip the comms over there. So that's solid gameplay. As a competitor, as myself, and as a caster doing listeners, that was probably some of the cleanest comms I've heard all year.
Hey, looking good here for the side of cul-de-sac, but unfortunately not necessarily good in the score line. It has been the double century marker that has been eclipsed for Cabal, and this is kind of what we expected. They just seem to dominate in these hard points. Even if they're not winning a lot of these rotations, they're finding the early breaks, and then they're able to hold them. They're able to clamp the iron grip down and just secure all the time that they need. Kaizen, though, big 4-piece, but it just feels like it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, unfortunately for the side of cul-de-sac, like you said, a little too late. They are going to be down about 110 points. I do guys shout out the time distribution from the side of Cabal. Almost a minute across all 4, which is actually insane, which usually never happens. If you've actually really taken a look at the statistics on players and teams, no one's really ever distributed time as well as they have so far this series. But it is going to be Hooligan, though, jumping in, being able to get 2. The potential rest of the scrap will go in favor of cul-de-sac, make it about a 120 to 212 game. But what can the side of cul-de-sac do on this P1? They've given up a lot of time, so let's see if they can keep it white time, because like I said, white time is good time, or can they actually, hold a setup?
I think you have to play for a little bit of this P1. You can't be playing super passive. You can't be playing for the white time, because one wrong gunfight, you're going to be put in a bad situation for that P2. So put the aggression on, and Teddy, he's doing that through the top hallways. Kaizen in through lower fire pits, as is going to be a lurk 26 and 19. We've said this guy's name a ton. Everybody's keeping up with the slay power, but you get a good 3 dead. This is the moment you have to capitalize, get a clean transition to the P2, and make sure you're able to lock it down at least for 40 to 50 points.
Yeah, like you said, getting a little bit of time on this point was pretty key for them, and then that's going to be the case. It's going to be about 150 to 221 going into that P2. It's going to be number 2, though, Cope, trying to push it for Cabal. Does get taken down. It is going to be number 7, Hooligan, on that early rotation inside that point, but it's going to be Nimble with 2. Big wins for Nimble and for the side of Cabal, but it's going to be all up to Hooligan. He's going to be in a 1v3 now. He gets 1. He does get traded out. Now P2, the glorious Money Hill, is in favor of Cabal. Can Cabal shut this down, go up 3-1, or can the boys of cul-de-sac retake?
They had everything in the palm of their hand there, Raven, and it just slipped through. You lost one gunfight, then everybody lost their individual ones. And I thought after finding that number 2 player in Kopu who's trying to sneak back, that this was going to be a potential change, but it ends up almost exactly the same, 249 to 158. But is it just a little bit of delay to the inevitable, as finally Lurk comes on in, cleans it up? Another hard point win here for Cabal. And the same score line.
I was literally about to say the exact same score line as map number 1, 250 to 159. And unfortunately, though, for the side of cul-de-sac, it was P2s, man. P2s all across the board, killing them from map number 1 to map number 4. The P2 rotation distribution from both sides, if I was able to pull up the percentage, it was heavily favored for the side of cul-de-sac on both maps. and unfortunately, they were just not able to hold those, early, pre-setups, as the side of Cabal coming in, and it's usually it's mainly Lurk and Introvert. I got to say, the ones that are sliding in, being able to play the heavy movement space COD, sliding backwards or sliding sideways, and getting those 1 to 2 pieces.
I mean, hold the phone. Wait a minute. I'm not sure if my eyes deceived me, Raven, but did I see Cope 26-14 and 26 non-traded kills? I don't think I've ever seen a perfect scoreline. Somebody go back, screenshot it for me, because that man just got 26 non-traded kills for all of his kills. I've never seen that before. So, I mean, give a shout out to Cope winning his ones and just somehow staying alive. Again, the highlight reels have been Lurk, have been Introvert, but sometimes, I mean, when you're doing the things right, you're doing the things right. And that was Cope, I guess, in that moment. You had Cooligan, had a slow start, but then DeBoy Dingo, he always has this great second half surge. He just needs to have it a tiny bit earlier, Raven. And I think the side of Cul-de-sac, they're going to be in a great spot.
Yeah, Cul-de-sac, it's hard not to, just call a team, inconsistent, but that's the way they're playing. There's times that, like we said in map number 1, where they needed to play a little bit more aggression or more aggressive, and even in map number 2, where they were playing staggered on the defense, or even on the offensive side in that rewind S&D. Once they started playing aggressive and adding more pressure to the side of Cabal was playing more back-footed COD, being able to, they were getting shut down, and second guessing their pushes, especially on that control. And then, going into this hard point, trying to rewrite the script of the series, it was like Cul-de-sac redid everything again. They took, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, and that's not what you want.
It's tough again with so many new players on the roster. There's still going to be those growing pains. It comes at the unfortunate expense of it being in the grand finals, right? You just don't have that opportunity to get that chemistry. Still, I think they're putting up a great fight. They are still keeping it relatively close. The only mode that they really didn't do that was the search and destroy. You're going into map 5. You're down 3-1. This isn't looking good for them, although they did go even across the board for first bloods 3-3. They just were not able to capitalize and get those conversion rates.
No, and like you said, in that map number 2, they did lose a swift 6-0. Hacienda S&D is obviously a little bit different, but where playing slow can be a little bit more favorable, in my opinion, I think, more than rewind, just because of how spread out the bomb sites and how open they are on rewind and how many angles you can shoot from. So depending on which team can really, manipulate the map and being able to get a little bit more presence on it, I think we'll take this map number 5. Like I said, the side of Cul-de-sac, they need to just run it down, get that bomb down. Don't wait until the last 20 to 15 seconds. Being able to play that post-plant setup and being able to, build some momentum off of that. So I'm going to go Cul-de-sac 6-2 in this map. That is my prediction.
Ooh, you are really trying to change things up here. I mean, a 6-2 after getting 6-0, that would be quite the rebound here. Trying to get the me-bounds. Shout out to Angel Reese, as they are really trying to, get something back, get it going. This is the moment. This is the opportunity. Remember, the last time you are probably ever going to play Black Ops 6, put everything out into the virtual court and make sure you're able to hit those threes, and you need to hit them now.
Yeah, and don't shoot your shot like Angel Reese. Just get the rebounds like Angel Reese, all right? Don't rely on the shot. But it's going to be Cabal on the offensive side, and it looks like it's going to be a quick B play, though, for the side of Cabal, but it's going to be Eddie Roosevelt with the blood, Kaizen with one of his own as well. It's going to be Lurk on this B site, does take down 1. It is going to be a 3v2 now. Life advantage for the boys of Cul-de-sac, but it's going to be all up to Lurk and a 1v3, potentially a 1v2. Does take them down in a 1v1 against number 5. It's going to be Teddy Roosevelt and Lurk. Lurk almost wins it. Oh my god.
I mean, there was some questionable challenges there from cul-de-sac, and now we got to wait for the next 40 seconds for this round to end. I like the aggression, though, from the side, or at least the defensive setup, excuse me, from cul-de-sac. You had somebody who was sitting in low wine, immediately one of the aggressors, I think it was Introvert. This is where you can try to have this map be your playground, is he just tried to sprint in through the middle. Nobody's watching. He thought he had free reign to go and start shooting people in the back, but it was indeed Hooligan sitting in the corner, finding that kill. And sometimes I think this is going to be the map where you have to change your strategies up just a tad bit. And so far, cul-de-sac, they come out and do better than they did in the map too.
Yeah, and like you said, playing the aggression a little bit and, watching the side of cul-de-sac, play a little bit slower, but not as slow as like they did in map number 2. And that's what I said. You can play a little bit slower in Hacienda and get away with it. Unfortunately, though, the side of cul-de-sac did give Lurk a couple ones that they should not have got given away. A little too eager to try to take down Lurk. But it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac on this offense. It's going to be the man Kaizen, who has been the man on the mission here. I think is the MVP for the side of cul-de-sac, as the bomb is going to be in his hands, but it is going to be a little bit of slower offense here, but it's going to be a blood for blood. Now, it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac, I believe, going to be trying to play for this B site.
And they just stop. Once again, you need to start putting on the pressure, or at least take a tiny bit of the map away, start to clear out some areas, right? It's going to be a 1v1. I think Hooligan, if he opens up this door slowly, he might be able to sneak around to number 2. And Cope is holding that corner. And oh my God, talk about the angles, talk about the timings. Cope is just not having a good one. This should be a plant here with the numbers for cul-de-sac.
Yeah, it's going to be Teddy, though, taking him down with that long-range gunfight, as Teddy's going to be on that 3 streak. This is a key post plant if you are the side of cul-de-sac, trying to keep that momentum, try to keep applying that pressure in those rounds, try to stay up as much as you possibly can, because the boys of Cabal are not to be messed with when it comes to SND. But it's going to be 2v2. Teddy does get taken down. It's going to be Kaizen and Hooligan versus Introvert and Lurk. 15 seconds left. It's going to be Hooligan, though, getting taken down. It's going to be all up to Kaizen. 10 seconds remain. The gunfights are going in. Down goes Lurk. And that's going to be a round win for the side of cul-de-sac.
Oh, and he stays alive, dude. Just messing with them, toying with his food. Raven might be the best player to be gambling right now, because it is a 2-0 start for cul-de-sac. He's calling out a 6-2 victory. They are looking like a completely different team here on this map 5. They are not going to go down quietly. They are going to want to go out with a bang. So what does the side of Cabal have to do to find themselves to get around on the board?
I feel like they're playing a little too aggressive. I feel like if they were able to slow down just a little bit, kind of play their game a little bit, it will go their way. Like I said, that Teddy does get blooded by Lurk. And, shout out to Graf, gassing my prediction up a little bit. And, if there's a fellow caster in here named Calamity, he knows how much my predictions in the past have been just so god-awful. But it's going to be the side of cul-de-sac, though, evening out the lives.
Just like Spider-Man and Family Guy. Everybody gets one. Apparently, everybody gets one. So far, it's a 1v3, though, as Nimble sitting in a really fickle position. And, oh, wow, he finds the angle, and he goes out for the chow? Oh, my goodness, Nimble. Where have you been? In the respawn screen, apparently.
Oh, that was so close. I won't say I was a little bricked by that. He almost got the third one. I was getting a little excited, all right, because, you don't really get to see flashy plays like that, especially in pros. No one's just flying out like that, getting a crazy 3-piece and a bomb defuse. So unfortunately, though, he does end up dropping. So big wins for the side of cul-de-sac. And hey, knock on wood, my prediction is so far standing true. It's 3-0 right now. I'm getting a little excited. I want a red card S&D. I'm just saying, chat.
Everybody who's watching right now, I want to see a map 7. I'll say it. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I am no cast or bias. I just want a good series. That's all I want here in the Call of Duty community. Everybody else, if you're the owner of Cabal, if you're the owner of the cul-de-sac, you're like, you know what? I just want to see this series end with our team on top. The boy Dingo, though, he's had these good moments, these flashes of these 1v1 opportunities. He's been seizing them pretty regularly, and there he does right with the first blood. Has the teammate support. Love this right now out of cul-de-sac. They are dominating this map.
Yeah, they're just taking top hall by storm. I do want to single out a player, though. It's going to be number 4 Introvert, though, playing in depths of the side of, cul-de-sac spawn, but the bomb's going to go down on this B side. I'm kind of curious to see what the side of the ball do here. It's going to be Cope and Introvert, though, on the bottom side of your map there on the screen. Going to be Cope, though, pushing through this bottom fire section, potentially. He might be getting a good timing on to number 8, Dingo, and that's going to be the case. Down goes 1. That's going to be number 4, though, playing through that open section. Let's see what can Introvert do here.
You just cannot lose this. And Cope, oh my God, he gets a beautiful timing, but he slides down. Introvert, he's called upon to strike and maybe bare his teeth. Unfortunately, not able to find the kills. Cope does. He finds 1. Can he find the second? He's not able to do so. It is 4-0 for Cul-de-Sac.
Are we going to see a map number 4 being rewritten as the map number 2? Map number 5 is map number 2, 6-0 to 6-0? I don't know. We'll see. I need to stop predicting maps, man. That's just I just need to stop because I'm getting too excited now because I'm gonna predict map number 7 just for my man Graph. We gotta end this Black Ops season, right on a red card. Red card is by far the best map in this whole entire game, and if you don't agree, then your opinions suck, respectfully. Because red card is awesome. I don't know. I love red card personally. So, but it's gonna be the side of Cabal though on this offense.
If Big Rich was here, he would be scolding the both of us to Kingdom Come as Introvert. He slides back out, and he is getting tagged, but he's doing the tagging as well. Eventually, you go 1 for 1, make it 2 for 1. Again, the numbers have been there. It's a 1v3 for Cope now in the 1v2, and he might have the opportunity to do this.
Kaizen and Hooligan, last guys alive for the side of cul-de-sac. But it's going to be Cope. He does have the bomb in hand, so he doesn't have to go searching for it, but it's going to be Kaizen playing another favorite corner of mine. Just being able to win that one-on-one, taking the map to 5-0. Oh my gosh. Me and Draft may be yawning a lot over here, all right, ladies and gentlemen, but we are very much locked in this series, all right? It's a good series. We're yawning because we're old men casting COD at 11:30 at night. It's 11:30 for me, but we're here. We're happy. We get to cast some handsome individuals playing some COD. So, thoughts, Mr. Giraffe? Do you think it's going to be 6-0? Do you think Cabal has it in the tank to come back in this map number 5?
I'll be quite frank. No, Cabal does not have this. You would have to pull off a full sale, which is the rarest thing in Call of Duty history. And I've been casting for 5 years. I have seen a total of maybe 3 or 4 of them, and one of them was at a LAN. Oh, and when talk about getting full sailed in a LAN, it might be the most depressing thing for the opposing team, but you get it to 3s, and you just got to start off with 1 kill, 1 foot in front of the other. You can just tell, though, everything's starting to gel. They are so comfortable on the. And how the hell did Hooligan win that one?
The hip fire and headshot multiplier on the aims just went absolutely insane right there for some odd reason. I don't know why, but it's gonna be the side of cul-de-sac pushing through, trying to get some kind of more map presence here. It's gonna be lurking, taking down. It's gonna be all up to Introvert in a 1v3. Gonna have to be playing the post point here as he's gonna try to hop up into that top open section, potentially to try to get a freebie here. And that's going to be the case. Does take the player off of the bomb site. It's going to be number 8, though, coming up through this office section. Number 8, not being able to really see him here, I don't think. It's going to be Dingo getting a bad timing. The bomb is going to go back down onto B. The bomb is planted. Introvert taking him down 1v1.
This is tense here. This is for a 6-0. This is how it ended the last time in the other map, too. It was a 1v3, and then he wasn't able to come through. But Dingo, he has the right plan. He's in the good position. Introvert's on the angle, and he can't find the kill. And that should be it. I do not think you lose this one if you are Dingo, and you shouldn't. As Introvert, nothing more than he can do. And he's going to hop the defuse. The player just gets an angle. It's a 6-0 for cul-de-sac. How the hell did they just do that, Raven?
I don't know, man, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm just as shocked as anyone else is in this chat. But I do want to make a quick comment on your full send. I have only done that on. I think I've done that a couple times online, but one time I did it at a LAN, and I did it to a guy on LAN, and he walked up to me and asked me, and because I sent him home after that, he asked me for a $1,000 chow online.
Online at a LAN?
Yeah.
Oh, that's well, that's a little underwhelming. He should have just $1,000 challenged you on LAN right there if he says you could do it in a 1v1. I'm not sure who that might have been, but I do love the chows as we are going on in to a control. This what an odd series. I will say this for a grand finals. This has been where we make predictions, and I'm not sure if anybody's ready for them. We've been saying, hey, this should be a Cabal win, and then it ended up going to the side of cul-de-sac. We thought that maybe in the search and destroy, at least I thought in the search and destroy, after getting 6-0'd, you're not going to 6-0 them back, and that's exactly what cul-de-sac did, and they're just not going away quietly. I love the fight that this team has.
Yeah, no, I tell you, they are digging deep into the depths, within inside themselves, trying to, bring back the momentum and bring themselves into this series a little bit. But now, chat and Graph, we load into a protocol control. Give me your thoughts.
Ooh, this is protocol control. Man, this is a tough one to be able to call here. To call Raven, but right now something's telling me this is going to a red card, like we are hoping. I don't know what it is about the protocol, whether it's the fact that you can get spawn trapped, whether that you can just have an AR go up, or the fact that nobody's been having a dud game. I think that's kind of the interesting, besides the one search and destroy, nobody is dragging their feet on the side of cul-de-sac. And that's the biggest difference. I think what we have seen from the side of Cabal and cul-de-sac is that we've had Nimble, we've had Cope just have these really off games, and it shows in the overall end of the map. Sometimes you can't just rely on Lurk and Introvert to have these takeovers. You have to work on that chemistry. And right now, something just feels like it's clicking for cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I gotta say, cul-de-sac has really been taking this series by storm, I'd say, as of late. Obviously, Cabal started off a little hot, that 250 to 159, the 6-0. But that 3-2 control, that's going to come back to bite Cabal in the butt, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Then 250 to 159, same score line in favor of Cabal in that hard point. And then obviously the 6-0 sweep that we all just witnessed in that Hossie and the SND. Protocol control, in my opinion, is probably my second favorite control map. I'd say Vault is probably my first one, because the spawn traps, like you said, on this protocol control are very brutal, because all you do is spawn either that back gun section or you're spawning heli most of the time, and those are just absolutely brutal gunfights to win if the team has the height advantage depending on where they're at. I can say I feel like the side of cul-de-sac, the way that they want to take this map is by doing the same thing they did in Hossie, taking control of those higher power positions and then letting their subs kind of get down into the nitty-gritty, playing those cheeky corners, getting aggressive a little bit, and stacking those points. Stacking points in protocol control are going to be their lifesaver.
And they did that well. When they got those opportunities, they seized them. And then on the opposite end, Cabal, when they got those opening breaks on both attacking rounds, they decided to not stack the point, and it took a lot longer for them. In the one case, in the opening round, they didn't get it. And then in the second time around, they ended up getting the win after finding the kills. They maybe are able to correct their mistakes here. But I love how you said that. Playing the power positions, play in top grandmas, play over towards the gun, and just reposition yourself so that you can even do a jiggle peek. So many players go from good to great to be able to play for information, play their life, and then relay it to their team. And just sometimes finding the kill isn't always the answer, and flying out and trying to shell isn't always the answer. Sometimes playing your life, that's what's going to give you the edge in the long run.
Yeah, I could have said it better myself, man. Tip out the draft, man. The guy knows the stuff. Man's okay. He's not the GOAT. He's the giraffe. All right. Sorry, I'll correct myself now. But we're loading into this map number 6, ladies and gentlemen. We got a protocol control. I'm gonna go cul-de-sac 3-2 because I need and I'm fiending for a red card S&D to just send off my Black Ops 6 casting season.
We both need it. We both need a map 7, round 11, red card search and destroy. Ooh. But it is going to have to start here. It's going to have to start on the protocol. It's going to be an attacking round here for Cabal. They come out, swing an introvert, trying to pepper the windows, but nothing is connecting. Lurk sitting in a good spot. Oh, what a read onto that player from cul-de-sac, as he's already having one tick of progression, should be able to find the second as he gets the kills as well. This is a great start for Cabal.
Yeah, big wins for the side of Lurk as usual. If they end up winning the series here, my personal MVP of the series is going to be Lurk. The guy is doing everything with that sub, getting aggressive, winning those long-range gunfights. As you know, he basically just captured that B point almost all by himself, so that B point will be captured completely for the side of Cabal. That's going to be 3 total ticks as they are going to rotate now towards that A site. It's going to be the side of cul-de-sac, though, trying to retake the spawn a little bit, applying a pressure of their own. That's going to be 3 down for the side of Cabal. Now it's going to be all 4.
And Teddy, he gets that triple, so that's the type of momentum that you need on the side of cul-de-sac as everybody's starting to show up. Introvert still 5-0, has yet to die. He slides out, and that's actually going to be Lurk who finds the kill. Eventually does fall, but Introvert, he's just thinking about those streaks, as he wasn't the one who found that kill there, but they're going to be able to stack this point and maybe find their opportunity to get this 8 point.
Yeah, shout out to Introvert. The guy has been frying all series as well. I got to give him his flowers. He's he's the duo to Lurk. Both of them have been applying pressure everywhere that they possibly can. The gunfights are going to go through, though. Down goes Lurk as he does get 2. That's going to be Kaizen on that 3 streak. I do got to shout out somebody in the chat, 7 Caleb. He said Game 7 would feed families. I agree.
I'm not sure what kind of families it would be feeding, but I appreciate the hype. That is a very, very interesting analogy to bring in, but I love it. I love it. Everybody's showing the support, showing the love. And you are down 10-7, but you find 2. Lurk, what a shot from range. And again, at the bell, I'm not sure what it is, Raven, about this team in cul-de-sac where they just wait till the final second to clutch up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and usually it's Kaizen or Teddy, taking the extra 2 seconds to make the route, but it's going to be Teddy, though, taking down Kaizen, which that's going to be a team kill you are going to want back within this last minute, as it is going to be a 4-life lead now for the side of Cabal. There's gunfights are going in. It's a 5v2.
No!
Teddy really wants that kill. He put a couple shots down, but he's going to be able to potentially get away with his life here.
No way.
But it's going to be Lurk, though, playing in this top section. But it's going to be Teddy, though, taking that extra route, taking him down.
Kidding me?
Oh, Giraffe, I'm getting nervous. My anxiety is going through the roof casting this series, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. Now we're down to a 1v1.
Oh, that boy Dingo, I said he's been clutching up in these types of moments when he has been given the opportunities. He has clutched them. And now it's him versus Introvert. But the fact that you even got to this situation is crazy. Dingo gets ripped. Introvert, a huge 1v1 that could essentially determine this entire series.
Now I'm sad. But like you said, Dingo, being able to come in as like the new kid on the block, being able to apply some pressure with the AR in that top blue section, just applying, like that inner spawn making the players of the side of Cabal, go to the outskirts, making the other kids from cul-de-sac, try to cut them off on the outskirts. Leaving the 1v1 though for Dingo. Unfortunately, he was not able to read that top zip play, but it is going to be the boys of cul-de-sac on the offense now, as they are going to have to try to push through for this B side, I believe, which is going to be the first course of action. Because honestly, playing A is an absolute death trap, but it's going to be number 2. I feel like he's going to be your key player here. If that's going to be Cope pushing through that top blue section. He was in a cheeky corner in that bottom mid, but let's see what the side of Cabal can do on this defense.
And Cope, my goodness, this man just wants to spawn out of control. The man has not had a good control series, as he is off to a 1-9 start. He's the only one who just hasn't been able to find those kills. You have your mission objective though for the cul-de-sac, as they are trying to put the pressure over towards A. Excuse me, and they are not able to find the kills. Currently, Nimble down to 3 HP and a Dream 9 and 7. Everybody is starting to hum. Cabal Omega, they do not want to see this map 7.
No, Cabal really needs to clutch up here if they want to be able to go home with some bread. I think any team, win or lose, they go home with some bread. But you want to be able to take out that first place trophy. It's going to be the side of Cabal though, applying that pressure on these spawns, as they are going to have about a 7 life lead here with only 20 seconds left for the side of cul-de-sac. It's going to be Lurk though, double positive, applying that pressure even more into those spawns of cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac though not really able to get out of their spawn whatsoever. Like I said, getting those back heli spawns, back gun spawns are not what you want if you are the side of cul-de-sac.
Yeah, you don't want him at all. And Nimble, the last remaining member to defend, excuse me, he was not. Everybody comes through and nobody's able to hop and touch the point. It's a 2-0 lead for Cabal. The heel is on the throats of cul-de-sac, as right now it looks like it might be the neighborhood watch disbanding. But you need everybody to rally. You need everybody to come together and make sure you're taking down those bullies. And cul-de-sac, they need to find that energy to come in and get the reverse sweep on this map 6.
I got to make a little point off the neighborhood watch. They got to really, dig deep and find their inner Karen. All right, they need to find that.
Yes.
You need to build that energy, build that anger to, just want to call the police because they're just being so disruptive right now. But it's going to be the side of Cabal on the offensive side, playing towards this A side. I think is going to be a little bit favorable for them here. But the gunfights are going to go through 30 for 30. But it's going to be Lurk though, taking a deep route. Ooh. He is going to get 1. That's going to be 2 down now for the side of cul-de-sac. But it's going to be a quick stack for the side of Cabal.
That's the good angles being taken from Teddy. It's a 2-2 trade. Everybody's winning their engagements. Just when you thought it might be a little spicy, everything cools off. The players from cul-de-sac, they rally up. They find the kills. DeBoy Dingo finding himself in a great position here to find a kill over towards that top office area, and he does find the kill. Lurk on the other end will be the last remaining member. He just doesn't have any support, so his job is to stay alive and be a nuisance.
I feel like I never really gassed the man Dingo a lot, but for you, Graf, you have done a fantastic job, because this guy is doing just about everything this map to keep his team just within just nail-biting scenarios. Applying that pressure in the spawns, being able to take 1 to 2 off for the lives, but it's going to be Teddy as well, taking down 3. 1 tick though onto A for the side of Cabal, as it is only 27 seconds left for this round. But hey, this is kind of what we saw in the first control. I mean, it didn't go 2-0, but it was 1-1. Times where the time and life advantage was not going in favor of Cabal. But cul-de-sac being able to clutch up when it matters, so we could potentially still see, a full rally in this map number 5 or map number 6. And I am here for it.
I'm here for it as well. Dingo does get taken down, and the 1v1 Kaizen with 2. Actually, that is going to secure yourself the defense, or the slide through. No, doesn't matter. The kills are still there, and that's 1 round on the board. Do you have what it takes to get the attack?
I believe it's going to be the side of Cabal I think they didn't cap B, but they capped A, so that should be 3 ticks. I think they're out. So, what can decide? Well, actually, realistically, they got to win by lives or off ticks. So, regardless, if the side of Cul-de-sac can come out in this offense, take the ticks, they will force the defense inside their favor for that round number 5, like they did in the map number 3. So, or map number 4, sorry. So, let's see what they can do here. You know, as I said, Hooligan, though, starting off a little slow. So is Cope. So which one of those two can really play as, you know, the real thorn in the side of either team? Will it be Hooligan or will it be Cope?
That's going to be the big question. Teddy Rosie sitting at 6 in a row, and he's not going to find any more. The 7th will not be there. Currently, everybody getting hunted down. This is the worst case scenario, but you take down Lurk, a great position to find yourself in. And now you back up the player over towards A, so it allows maybe one player to hop in. No, the reinforcements are there. Cope finding his footing, 10 and 16. You just cannot get put into this spawn trap here, Raven.
No, absolutely not. But it's going to be Cope, though, getting knifed down by the side of Teddy Roosevelt. But like I said, Cope, who is going to be the game changer? Will it be Cope or Hooligan? So far, it is Cope. Getting those key kills, applying that pressure into the spawns. If you are the side of Cul-de-sac, this is not what you want. You got to try to get out of your spawn and apply some pressure yourself. But the gunfights are going through. It's going to be Introvert, though. Actually, sorry, it's going to be Nimble on a 5. Down goes, I believe that's going to be Dingo as well. And the spawns are going to be in favor of the boys of Cabal. 19 seconds left, though, for the lives of Cul-de-sac.
Everything is starting to slip away. They have done what they can, but maybe they ran out of gas before they could cross the finish line. 9 seconds left. This is your final opportunity. The routes are being taken. You're not winning these opening engagements. Everybody falls. Ladies and gentlemen, you have your grand finals champion for Group C of the Elite Warfare Gaming League. It is Cabal Omega taking down Cul-de-sac here in the map 6, winning the series in a 4-2.
You know, honestly, I'm mad at Cabal because I wanted that red card, but I guess we'll end the Black Ops 6 season on a protocol. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be our series tonight, as it is going to be, what, a 4-2? I believe that was the final. Yes, it was 4-2. So, unfortunately, though, the boys of Cul-de-sac were not able to rally to potentially force that map number 7, the red card S&D. But hey, they dug deep inside themselves, forced a couple extra maps for us, you know, cast for you guys, and you know, we'll recap this a little bit for you guys, whoever's new in the chat and has not been here quite yet. So, you want me to run with it, or would you like to, Mr. Graff?
They absolutely run with it there, Raven.
All right, so we're going to start off with the Skyline hardpoint, as it was Cabal running away with that one, 250-159. Very one-sided, I believe, especially in the breaks and rotation side of things for the side of Cabal. Their respawns tonight were absolutely insane. The S&D for Rewind map number 2 was a 6-0 in favor of Cabal, was absolutely one-sided. Very much a skill, not really a skill gap, but rep gap and chemistry gap between the two teams. Hacienda Control was a 3-2 in favor of the boys of Cul-de-sac. Absolutely insane turnaround in that map. Big composure and energy from the side of Cul-de-sac, being able to, you know, push themselves past that finish line a little bit on that map. Map number 4 was a Hacienda hardpoint, ended in the same similar score line, 250-159 as well in favor of Cabal. And then, you know, a 6-0 S&D in favor of the boys of Cul-de-sac. And then, obviously, the protocol control was in 3-0 in favor of the boys, or 3-1 in favor of Cabal. So, shout out to the boys. I think we might kick it to a quick interview real quick with the winners. You know, let me know in the chat as well who you guys think the MVP is, so me and Graf can, you know, congratulate them, because, you know, someone's got to be the MVP of the grand finals.
Somebody's got to be the MVP, and we'll let the fans decide that one. But Dre, if you could bring us on into the Cabal chat, we would love to hopefully be able to talk. I'm not sure if I will be, just with the way that the mics are, but we'll make it work. All right. Well, we just got word from production that we are going to kick it to a break. But when we come back, it's going to be Cabal Omega, the champions here of Group C Elite Warfare Gaming League, coming up with an interview.
Oh my.
Oh my god!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are sitting here with the Cabal Omega squad. My name is Graf the Drav. I'm joined by Raven. I mean, Lurk, Nimble, Vert. You guys have just been absolutely incredible. I see Christian. I'm sorry, I forgot what your gamer tag was. I think it was Cope.
Cope.
I think it was
Yeah,
Cope. Yep, Cope. All having an incredible series. Kind of, what was your game plan going on in and being able to take that, down in a 4-2?
Just knowing that we were the better team, just staying composed and keeping our foot on the gas. Don't get complacent. Don't let them back in it.
I love that. I love that. And talk about what kind of happened in the search and destroy. You guys in the map 2, it was a 6-0, and then you went into the map 5 and you got 6-0. Was it just the way that you guys were playing, or was it a map that you weren't necessarily comfortable with?
It was a Coach Cheese.
A coach cheese. Oh my goodness. Well, what did the coach say?
No. He's saying that they had their coach in there right before that search, and then we got 6-0.
Hey, they got a good one on you, but it didn't matter. You guys came out with the win, an incredible one. I know everybody's going to be giving their MVP votes, but Raven, what kind of questions do you have for these guys?
I got to ask a question for this one specifically because I'm a player myself, so I kind of understand what kind of happened in that Hacienda control in that last round. So I want your guys' opinions or your guys' insight in the comms. How was it like to end that map in Hacienda control, losing that 3-2 the way you guys did, to then rewrite the script in this last protocol control to end the series?
I mean, to be honest, that control should have ended 3-1. If Vert doesn't lag out and we're not 100% sure if we can end the game, like we had it won 3-1. Like we had them spawn trapped. Is just we knew we were the better team and the better respawn team. So it's like we had no doubt in our minds. Just had to regain and lock back in.
See, Graf, the things like that, I just love to hear. The absolute confidence and just the aura filling this Discord call right now just makes me so excited at 12 o'clock in the morning.
I
So,
felt that.
I got one more question for you guys. Now, the hard points, double similar score lines. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, Skyline's our best hard point. I mean, we can all kind of fly around, get kills when we need to. We play really good off of each other, and So that one we thought was a lock. The Hossie, after getting 6-0'd, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, okay, maybe Hossie's their map, but then we kind of shut it down, and I was like, all right, now they can't hang with us and respawn. So it was just
Even with
playing
the
off
role
of each other.
change.
Yeah, yeah. We had Vert and Cope switching back and forth on AR and sub. It didn't matter. It was just a good series all in all. But yeah, just playing rotations, playing cuts. We just did it all correctly on those hard points.
Hey, you love to see it, guys. You love to see it, even though you said Skyline was your favorite map. The scoreline did show, but hey, you still won anyway. So a win's a win. But hey, congratulations, you guys, and what a way to end the Black Ops 6 season, coming away with that Grand Finals champions. And I can't wait to see what you guys do in Black Ops 7 because it's gonna be interesting seeing people flying off the walls again.
Yes, sir.
Can I say
All right.
something?
Oh, sure.
I just want to say, I'm proud of these boys here for coming back and making a good run out of winners or losers bracket and getting to grand finals and working together as a team. And last thing is shout out cul-de-sac for not grabbing frog. So, yeah.
Yeah, shout out those guys. Those guys. That's our first. That was our first 2 map losses through the playoff bracket. So those guys that's a good ass team right there. Those are some good players.
It's a good team.
Hey, shouting them out, and I know they had a final roster swap in the final weeks. They had, I think, 2 or 3 brand new players because their whole roster quit. So yeah, just coming together and fighting the good fight. But you guys obviously came out on top, and showing your kudos to them. But congratulations, guys. We'll let you get some sleep or celebrate the victory for a little bit longer. But hey, congratulations once again, and have a good one.
Gonna be the
Raven, obviously, just some good vibes. Lurk being the captain, being the IGL, answering all the questions, and then this random guy just said, "Hey, can I speak for a second?" No, I'm joking. That was Noah. That was the coach at the very end, showing some love. But Raven, what are your kind of final thoughts on the series and the way to end the Elite Warfare Gaming League?
I gotta say my final thoughts personally. I never really heard about this league nor about the organization behind it and all the people behind it that make this thing run. The only leagues I've really ever been a part of is XP League and ZGL, and I got to say EWG is not a league to miss. There's shooters everywhere in this league, whether if it's Group A through Group C, whatever. They are here to show up and play, and to give you guys a good showing as well. This series was absolutely insane. It's lasted about 2 hours, honestly, and I did not expect it to even last this long. Some of the grand finals I've cast this year have been pretty much blowouts, and this has been one of the closest ones I've casted and an absolute pleasure. So shout out to the players and obviously shout out EWG, absolute goats over here. If any of y'all are in the chat that are competing next year in BO7, make sure you sign up because if you don't, I will show up to your house and steal your Halloween candy on Friday, all right? Just telling you now.
Man, steal the Halloween candy and watch out for Raven out there, everybody. But again, thank you for Dre being behind the scenes with the production, make sure everything runs smoothly. Devontae and the rest of the staff of EWG making sure that it was an incredible season, and I can't wait to see what they do in Black Ops 7. Raven, obviously, it was a pleasure casting with you. Our first time being able to co-cast, so it was incredible and a good way to end the Black Ops 6 title.
Absolutely. I would not have wanted to do with anybody else, honestly. You are a giraffe, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for wanting to do it with me. It was absolutely probably one of the best casts I've done in a while. But I do want to shout out one thing. The MVP of the grand
Ooh.
finals is going to be Lurk from the boys of Cabal.
Hey, well deserved Lurk being the MVP for the final grands for the Elite Warfare Gaming League. But everybody, this is going to come to a close and a fun conclusion. Cabal is the grand champions for Group C Elite Warfare Gaming League as they took down the called